Okay, I'm going to talk a little bit about getting the Stevie Ray Vaughan sound, and I'm going to break it up into a couple videos. This one is about pickups and only about pickups. Okay. Now, there's a guy who wrote about Stevie's name's Craig Hopkins, and he says, in my opinion, as an amateur guitarist, you are likely defeated before you begin in your quest for his tone. And this is something that I want to say, no, you're not. Go for it. If you are an amateur guitar player, a hobby guitar player, even a pro guitar player, and you love Stevie Ray Vaughan's sound, go for it, man. Go for it. Because if Stevie Ray Vaughan playing his sound is 100%, right? The Stevie sound by Stevie is 100% there, 100%. If you got up to 60% of his sound, you'd probably sound pretty good. If you got up to 80% of his sound, you'd be doing pretty good. If you got up to 90% of his sound, you'd be doing real good. You would sound great. Of course, you're not going to get 100% of his sound because, I mean, it's Stevie Ray Vaughan. You're never going to get 100% of Stevie's sound. But if you get 60% of the way there, you're going to sound pretty good. So I say go for it. And when you're looking around at some videos on how to do it, like finding this one, understand there's a lot of misinformation out there being spread on the internet. And this one right here has 120,000 views. Okay. And the guy's telling you how to get Stevie's recreation of his tone. And he says, Stevie Ray Vaughan tended to use Texas specials. If you want to get as close as possible, I recommend going to Texas specials in your Strat. So if you want to get as close as possible, throw Texas specials into your Strat. Okay, that's misinformation. Do not throw Texas specials into your Strat based upon what this guy says. Stevie never used Texas specials. When they pulled his guitar apart, and I'll talk about his guitar in another video, but when they pulled his guitar apart, he didn't have Texas specials in the guitar. Stevie Ray Vaughan never used Texas specials. Stevie Ray Vaughan never used Texas specials. So if you want to get as close to Stevie as possible, and you want to emulate his tone, it would be good and it would help you to know what kind of pickups he was using. So if you run out and get Texas specials and you're not getting the Stevie Ray Vaughan tone, well, you know, it wouldn't surprise me. Now, Texas specials do sound good. If you like the sound of Texas specials, go get them. Okay, but there's a little key here in the pickups that Cesar Diaz talks about, and I'm going to share it with you. The little key to Stevie's pickup sound. When they took the guitar apart, when they took the number one guitar apart, they found out, and I'll talk about the guitar in another video, but they found out that the pickups were stock. They were stock pickups. And the guitar was a 1963 guitar, had stock pickups in it. Okay, now in 1963, Fender was using what they call black bottom pickups. These are low output pickups. They're not Texas specials. And even in this limited edition Stevie Ray Vaughan Strat, if you notice what kind of pickups he uses in this, custom shop, hand wound 60s single coil Strat pickups. They didn't put Texas specials into it. So in the master built John Cruz limited edition Stevie Ray Vaughan Stratocaster, it's a master built guitar. They didn't use Texas specials. So why would you? The trick, the key is you want to use a low output pickup. Cesar Diaz talks about analyzing 500 plus pickups over his life in terms of a reading. There's a thing on it called resistance. This is how you're going to tell if a pickup is a low output pickup, is through the resistance. Okay. And Cesar Diaz talked about how he had disassembled and rewound many pickups, and the good ones ranged from 5.4 to about 5.9. They never went over 6. They never went over 6.0. Now, if you look at Texas Special pickups, DC resistance 6.2, DC resistance 6.5, DC resistance 6.7. That's not how you're going to get a Stevie sound. Cesar Diaz, who helped Stevie get his sound, knew that you use a low output pickup to get the roaring tone, that gigantic sound that Stevie's getting. Now, it seems counterintuitive because you would think a higher output pickup would give you a bigger sound, but it's not true. Because what you're doing is you're taking the low output pickup and then you're amplifying the hell out of it, which I'll talk about in other videos. But you're getting the purest tone possible from your guitar with these low output pickups. It's really, really giving you the sound of your guitar in a pure form. So you're going to want a low output pickup. Now, in terms of a low output pickup, here's on the Fender website, one of their pickups is the original 5762 pickup. And look at the rating, pickup output meter, it's at a 1. DC resistance 5.6, DC resistance 5.6, DC. See, that's good. That's where you want it, 5.6. You basically you want nothing over 6, and getting up to 6, I wouldn't even bother. But if you want to go as high as you want to go, is 6.0 on these numbers. The highest you want to go is 6.0 on those numbers. Here's the pure vintage 59 Strat set. Now it's a little hotter. It's a 2. So this is 5.9, 5.9, and 5.9. So this is another good set right here that you could get, $170. What you don't want when you're going to get a Stevie Ray Vaughan tone, you don't want a hot, super hot pickup. You don't want one. You want a low output pickup that registers in terms of the resistance at less than 6, like this, 5.6, 5.6, 5.6. Something like that. So once you get your pickups, low output pickups, when you put them in and you're using Stratocaster pickups, okay, they're not the same as Les Paul pickups. They're much more responsive to how far away they are from the guitar. Okay, so you want to adjust the height of the pickup so it gets the sound you want. Now, if you have them too close to the strings, it can create a distortion effect. It can create an over folding over of the sound, and you won't get a pure tone. So if you're adjusting your pickups and you hear this kind of distortion, kind of like a over the top of your sound, it's because your pickups are too close to your strings. Now, guy who says, hey, don't try for Stevie's tone has pretty good he's not the only one who has this information, but when you adjust the pickups, how far they are from the strings, I'll show you how far his pickups were from the strings here. You want him, Stevie played his pretty high. Okay. He played his strings were pretty high up. Now, when they measured how high up his pickups were, they laid a metal ruler on the frets, or a straight edge on the frets. Okay. Now the bridge pickup touched the ruler. The middle pickup almost touched it, and the neck pickup was 1/16 from the rule. Okay, so that's pretty vague. So what I would do is I would do this measurement on the bass side of, this is how far the pickups are from the strings, and they measured it from the piece of plastic on the pickup cover. Okay. A lot of people measure it from the pole piece to the string, and they push down on the highest fret, then they measure the pole piece to the string to get a measurement. Okay, don't do that. If you're trying to use this measurement, you lay the straight edge on the neck so that it goes over the pickups and it's flat on the neck. Okay, and then you measure from the pickup cover to the ruler. Okay, and do it on the side of the low E string. So put it next to the low E string. Okay, put it down on the guitar, and then measure from the pickup to the low E string, and you use a real fine little ruler like this right here, which has 64ths and 30 seconds on it. Okay, so you just need a small little ruler. These are like $2 at Home Depot. It has 1/64th and 1/32 on the ruler. Okay, real small increments. You want one of these, and you use the flat side of it to put onto the guitar or onto the pickup cover. Okay, so when you lay the ruler down, and you can see the distance between the pickup cover and the string, you're not pushing down on the string now. The string is just sitting there on the guitar. Okay, the measurement should be on the bass side by the bridge. Bass side bridge pickup should be 1/32 away from the string. The middle pickup is 1/16 away from the string, and the neck pickup is 1/32 away from the string. So the neck is the one closest to the neck, obviously. 1/32, the middle 1/16, and the bridge in the lead position is 1/32. Okay, that's how close they were. Now, if you have them that close, which they're close, if you have them that close and you're getting an odd tone out of your Strat, it's kind of a distortion, kind of a floppy kind of sound. It's not real clear. It's not real. Doesn't have that Fender pop. Your pickup's too close to the guitar, so just adjust it. Just move it down and see where you like it. You might like it. I like my pickups real low because I can get a lot of dynamics out of the guitar with the pickup lower. You know, it doesn't just it doesn't, it gives me a lot of room to play soft and quiet and then loud and then louder. I find it more dynamic at a lower position. So just move it up and down and see what you get out of it. Now, in terms of using the pickup, you know, this is the pickup Stevie used the most right here, the one by the neck. 95% of the time, Stevie used this pickup. 95% of the time, Stevie is going to be using this pickup right here. Literally 95% of the time, maybe even 98% of the time. When he's playing solos, he will whip it down into, you know, the lead position for a couple notes, which I'll talk about when I talk about his technique and this and that. But 95% of the time, 98% of the time, Stevie was using the neck pickup, the pickup closest to the neck. So once you get your pickups in there, your low output pickups, okay, then you adjust the height of the pickup to where it is. Stevie had it just to see where it is, what it was. Play it on the neck. Play a lot of Stevie Ray Vaughan licks on this neck pickup because that's where he lived, right here. So the keys are, once again, to get the low output pickup in your guitar. Okay. Adjust the height of the pickup to get it to sound like you want it, or use the exact Stevie measurements, which are on there's a couple sources for this, but this is on craighopkins.com under tones gear, and I'll put a link for this little article right here. And so once you get the height, decide where you want it, adjust the height of the pickup to get it to sound like you want it with your rig, with your amp, with your sound, with your technique, and then flip it to the neck position and play it on the neck position. And that's a real good guide there to pickups on the Stevie Ray Vaughan Strat. And if you start there, it's a real good starting point. So good luck.